Good morning everybody, this is George here with the Brooklyn Review YouTube channel. In this channel we normally do info sessions and strategy sessions on standardized tests such as GRE, GMAT, SAT, TOEFL and IELTS. Today I am going to talk about GRE vocabulary. You all know that vocabulary is a very important part of your GRE arsenal if you are actually harboring any ambitions to ace the test and come up with an excellent score. This is often easier said than done because GRE vocabulary is completely different from the vocabulary that we use in our day-to-day life. Let me give you an example. Let us say that we are actually going to use the word miser in the GRE examination, or some other term which is actually quite simple and easy. GRE would rather use a synonym of that particular word, a complex, much more complex or difficult synonym of that word. So for in this particular case, we can say for miser, we can say GRE would use parsimonious, skinflint, pinchpenny, or niggard, or mimi, or terms like that. So let's say that GRE wants to use talkative. So obviously its substitutes would be the preferred choices such as garrulous, loquacious, verbose, prolix, voluble. So this is the type of vocabulary that you would encounter in GRE. So therefore it is extremely difficult for a lot of test takers, GRE aspirants, to really master vocabulary and come up with a very good score. Today I am going to share with you some ideas, some strategies and tips and techniques to master vocabulary, especially GRE vocabulary, right? Today I am going to use a very age-old strategy to master vocabulary. There are other strategies as well. There are a number of other strategies which I would like to share with you in the forthcoming session. So if you could actually follow our YouTube channel and subscribe to our channel, you will actually get a lot more of these kind of videos. In those videos I am going to actually share with you other strategies and tips and techniques which will help you to master English vocabulary. Today I am going to talk about only one strategy, and I will also share with you a number of examples wherein you can apply this particular strategy. Okay, so the strategy today I am going to talk about is roots, suffixes and prefixes. In case that you are wondering what is root, what is suffix and what is prefix, let me actually come up with an example in order to clarify it to you. Let us take the word intransigent. In this particular word you can see that this word has got three different syllables in it. So that is in, then trans and gent, right? So intransigent. So in this particular word the word is prefixed with in, and the root is trans and the suffix is gent. So intransigent, right? So in as in inefficient, insufficient, inadequate basically means not or without, right? So this particular prefix can also mean some other things, but in this particular context we are looking at only the meaning not or without. Right, so then what is the meaning of the root trans? Trans basically means change. For example, transform, transfer, yes, transport, so transformation, yes. So trans basically means change, so in means not, trans means change. Now let us actually identify the meaning of gent, right? So gent basically, for example, let us say intelligent. In this particular word intelligent, gent means someone. Intelligent means someone with intelligence, isn't it? So the suffix means someone. Right, let us take another word, let us say a detergent. So in this particular case, a detergent is something that cleans something, isn't it? So here in this particular context, in the context of the word detergent, gent basically means something. To put it in a very simple way, gent means something or somebody, right? Now, so in means not or without, trans means change, gent means somebody or something. So we can say not, that is in, trans means change, and somebody. So somebody who doesn't change that easily. So somebody who's actually who is very difficult to convince, okay, intransigent. A person who is actually going to hold on to his or her possession despite continuous efforts by others. That person will actually stick on to his or her possession. So intransigent is actually somebody who doesn't change that easily, somebody is actually very stubborn, yes. So I think that might have some idea about root, suffix and prefixes by now. Now let me actually introduce you two different roots, and we are going to actually talk about some of the words which could be derived from or which could be made from these two roots. So the first one I'm going to introduce to you is the Greek root logos. Okay, so this is a very common root. Logos basically means a word or speech. Okay, so we got actually number of derivatives that you can actually get from the Greek root logos. For example, in English we have three derivative roots. One is LOC, the other one is LOG, and the third one is LOQ. Right. So let me actually start with LOG. Now, if you actually look at this particular root, we can actually create words such as dialogue. If you look at the word dialogue, it is bisyllabic. It has got two different syllables, dia and log, dialogue. Now let us try to find out the meaning of dia. So we could actually known terms such as diameter or diagonal. So a diameter or diagonal basically means across, isn't it? Diagonally opposite. We normally say diagonally opposite. So diagonal means across. So diameter, I think that you all know what is diameter, right? So dia means across. So log means word or speech. So put in a very simple way, technically speaking, dialogue technically means word that is actually put across, isn't it? That we have when we have a dialogue, when we are engaged in a dialogue, we normally let's say exchange or words will be put across, isn't it? So that's why the word dialogue actually takes that particular meaning. So technically, so dialogue, I think that you all know what is the pragmatic or practical meaning of dialogue in our day-to-day context. Okay. Now let us actually have a look at another word, monologue. So we all know that monologue means this particular word means a single person talking, but there are listeners. Now let us actually take an example here. Let's try to break this particular word, monologue. So this particular word has got mono and log. Mono means one. You know that mono and stereo. I think that you can easily identify the difference between mono and stereo. Logos basically means word or speech. So monologue is actually a single person talking or one person talking, but there are listeners. Now let us actually have a look at some more terms. Let us take prologue. So this particular word again is bisyllabic. It has got actually pro and log, two different syllables to it. So prologue. So log, obviously we know that word or speech. Pro means before, isn't it? Before. So let us say this particular word prologue means an introductory talk before a play or a movie, or sometimes it can also refer to the foreword that is actually written before you actually get into the content of the book, right? So it's a foreword. It is actually a preface to a book. So prologue means an introductory talk. It can be a foreword or a preface to a book. So that is prologue. Now let us have a look at another word which you could actually create from the root logos. That is epilogue. So let us try to understand the meaning of this particular root, this particular word, and so let us try to cut this into two different parts, epi and logos. That is what epilogue is. So epi, you might have studied in school, basically you might have seen words like epidermis. Epidermis is the outermost layer of our skin. Now if you actually buy a book, normally in the outermost cover of the book something is written briefly about that particular book. So that brief description, that blurb, that small paragraph about that particular book is called epilogue, right? So this could also be, we can also say the same thing about a concluding speech after a play, right? So a stage play ideally, right? So that is also called epilogue. So epilogue is nothing but a concluding talk. Prologue is an introductory talk, right? So it is also a preface or a foreword. Now, so let us also have a look at let's say the other derivative, LOQ. So we can actually get words like, let's say, loquacious, LOQUACIOUS, loquacious. So it basically means somebody who is actually talkative. Loqua means word or speech. OUS as a suffix means full of. Now you might have actually heard the words gracious, which means word full of grace. You might have heard the word malicious, means full of malice. You might have heard the expression ambitious, which basically means what? Full of ambition. So to put it in a very simple way, OUS as a suffix means full of. So if you say loquacious, laqua means word or speech, and OUS means full of. That means somebody or someone who is full of speech. What do we call the person? Talkative, isn't it? So that's what actually the meaning of the word loquacious. Now let us see the word eloquent. Eloquent, normally the presence of E as a prefix means something good. We normally say elated, that is extremely happy, elated. Euphoric, again another positive word. So E at the beginning of a word normally indicate a positive meaning. So there are exceptions for this. For example, exit, extraneous, there are other terms. But normally E indicates something good, as in euphoria, right? So here eloquent means somebody who is good at speaking or somebody who is actually good at communicating. So that's what the meaning. He is very eloquent, we normally say. Now another word that we can actually get from logos, this particular root, is grandiloquent. So grandiloquent, if you look at the word grandly eloquent, that somebody is grandly eloquent. So grandiloquent, that means grandly eloquent. Now, so that is another word that you can actually get. Somebody is actually very good at talking. Somebody is actually a good communicator, right? Verbal communicator, that's what it is. Now, so if you look at, we have created terms using elogy, we have created terms using eloque. Now, another derivative of logos, the Greek root, is LOC. Now, I think that you might have heard the term elocution when you might even participated in elocution competition. Elocution is nothing but a formal speech. Okay, so elocution is a formal speech, a good formal speech. That's what elocution is. Now, let us actually take another word, interlocutor. Okay. Interlocutor. Who is an interlocutor? Inter means in between. We normally do your school, then you have your intermediate, and then or plus 2 or whatever you call it, intermediate, that means in between, and then you have your college education, isn't it? So intermediate is something that actually comes between your school and your college. So inter means in between. Intercontinental, what does it mean? Between the continents, that's what the meaning. So interlocutor, inter means between, locutor, LOC basically means word or speech, isn't it? So interlocutor is actually a middleman who would actually talk on behalf of both the parties. So that person is actually taking the position of a middleman. So therefore interlocutor means middleman, right? So that is how that we get different words from the Greek root logos, which obviously has got 3 derivatives that are LOG, LOC and LOQ. So I think you can also use this particular root to actually get to the meaning of so many other words as such. I am not really going to delve into it at this juncture. I am going to actually introduce you another important root. Let us say, let's take the word suicide. Suicide, if you look at this word, it is definitely, it has got 2 different syllables, and let us actually try to understand the meaning of suicide. Suicide, obviously everybody knows the meaning, killing oneself, isn't it? That's what actually suicide. Side, CID, basically means kill, and sui means self. So the word meaning technically for suicide is kill oneself, right? So we have lot of other terms which we can actually create, which we can actually use using the root word side. For example, let us say that we talk about killing pests. We normally have a lot of actually let us say poisonous substance we normally bring to a home to kill, let us say, pests. So killing pests, that is called pesticide. So something that kills pests, that is what actually pesticide. Now let us actually take the case of insects. What do you normally say? Insecticide. Now let us say that you are actually not just actually killing pests or insecticide. Sometimes there are actually plants which are not useful for us. We need to actually clear our lawn or a garden area or something. We sometimes use poisonous material, right? So that is actually called herbicide. So killing the plants, herbicide. So we kill some animals, then we kill plants. Now what do we actually call if we actually kill a human? So the word for killing a human is homicide. Homo sapiens, homi, human. So killing a human being is homicide. What if you actually kill, let us say, what we call a woman? That is called femicide. Killing a woman, femicide, right? If you actually kill, let us say, a lot of people, that is genocide. Now look at the word femicide, feminine, isn't it? Fem means female, isn't it? So femicide means killing a female or a woman. Genocide is killing people of the same origin. Now look at the word genocide, genocide. So gen means origin or birth. Alright. Now, so when you commit a genocide, we all know that Hitler unleashed a genocide on the Jewish population across Europe during the Second World War, right? So this particular genocide, this was actually killing people of the same origin or birth, or killing people en masse, killing people who belong to a same ethnic identity or origin. So that's what actually genocide. Okay, I think the classic example of genocide is Holocaust carried out by the Nazis during the Second World War, right? So that is genocide. Now let us talk about killing, let us say, the king. Killing the king basically means regicide. The word that is used for killing the king is regicide. We all know that regime means rule. We normally say Shah Jahan's regime or Jahangir's regime. So regicide is killing the king. We normally know that a regiment is a tightly ruled unit, right? So regicide is killing the king or killing the ruler rather. Now we can also talk about killing, let's say, family members. For example, killing the husband is maledicide, right, or viricide. But when it comes to killing the wife, that is called uxoricide, because uxor means wife, so uxoricide, killing the wife. Killing the mother, that is matricide, matriarchal system, patriarchal system, isn't it? So matricide is killing mother. There is a term for killing father, that is called patricide, patron, patriarch, patriarchal system. A lot of actually other terms which can actually be created from pater or Peter, basically means father. So patriarchy, isn't it? So patricide is killing father. Killing a brother. So what is the term that you could actually use for killing, talking about killing a brother? That is called fratricide. We normally use the word universal fraternity, or French Revolution said liberty, equality and fraternity, isn't it? So fraternity is nothing but brotherhood. So fratricide is killing brother. Then is there a term for talking about killing sister? Of course there is a term. That term is sororicide, right? That is actually killing sister. Alright, so sororicide is actually killing sister. Now if you are actually killing a close relative, that is called parricide. But let us say that you are killing your own children or your own progeny, then that is actually prolicide. Alright, so we have actually number of terms that you could actually create from using the roots. The first one that I talked about, the Greek root logos, and the second one I talked about the root cide, C-I-D, which means kill, right? The first word, root word was logos, which basically means word or speech. So I'm just going to actually summarize what we've actually so far talked about. So GRE vocabulary is not ordinary vocabulary. So we need to actually have some strategies or tips or techniques to really master GRE vocabulary. One of the strategies, age-old strategies and very effective strategy is to understand Greek or Latin roots, because English language borrowed majority of its vocabulary from Greek and Latin, because these two classical languages really contributed to most of other European languages as well, and English depend heavily on these two classical languages for its existence. Therefore, if you could actually learn these two classical languages, I am not saying that you have to actually master these two languages, Greek and Latin, it's very difficult. but some of the key terms, some of the root terms from Latin and Greek, if you could actually master Greek and Latin roots, so that will help you to deal with GRE vocabulary in a much more effective way. So I just introduced just 2 different roots. There are hundreds of roots, prefixes and suffixes, which will help us understand our vocabulary, GRE vocabulary, English vocabulary in general, and GRE vocabulary specifically. So I will be introducing other root words in the forthcoming sessions, forthcoming videos. So stay tuned and keep watching, and so I would really request all of you to actually go and click the subscribe button so that you will not miss, and also click on the bell icon so that you will actually get notifications. So thank you so much for your time, thank you so much for watching, and so my name is George. I am basically representing Brooklyn Review, which is a GRE coaching center, topmost GRE coaching center in India, especially that we are located, predominantly we are offering service in Hyderabad. So if you would like to take part in our classroom trainings, you can actually come down to our centers in Kukatpalli as well as in Amirpet. Both the centers are actually located in the heart of the city and easily accessible by metro, and so the Kukatpalli center is very close to JNU, just actually it is a stone's throw from JNU, just 2 minutes walk, and the Amirpet center is actually just a minute's walk from the metro station. It is in the heart of the city. Okay, thank you so much for watching once again. See you.